Clash of Clans podcast, special episode 32. And I'm back here in the WBSMT radio studio, joined by special guest, The Wait is Over, member of House of L, and goes by Benji. That's his name.
Yeah, that's the normal name, I guess.
So, yeah, we started talking, and I said, well, what am I going to call you? Because I was just referred to him as Wait in the clan.
Oh, God. And it makes it so confusing because people write Wait, and then half the people in the clan don't understand if it's an ongoing conversation or if they're talking to me. Because they'll just leave me off the end.
Did he just
they're just like
misspell it?
Yeah, exactly. So I have to respond to the misspelled name and the correctly spelled name, and I just kind of cruise on by. It's not a big deal.
I have been actually misspelling that lately. Like, if I'm typing something up, or I notice I said that in the L line chat, I said something like, we'll wait and see, and I spelled it W-A-I-T-E.
Oh my gosh. And you would imagine, like, there's no way I haven't heard it. Them people like rolling this into like some sort of pun, and it's always just one is better than the next one. They're so good.
Well, and
man,
and you were holder of the battle axe, the L battle axe, a couple of wars ago, and you were going to give it away, and that was an endless source of jokes. Wait for it.
Wait, is he going to tell us? And I was logged off for a good 30 minutes. I was like, oh, this is funny to you guys, huh? All right, I'll let you wait then.
Yeah, it just was, we were just like, oh God, he's really making us wait. So we talked about coming on, and I kind of want to just get into like your background a little bit. And when we talked about it before, and then today I thought, well, Wait is newer to the House of L. You've been there for what, 2 months?
Yeah, about 2 months, 2.5 months, something like that. Pretty fresh. And
you came in, and your base was a little rushed.
True.
And so I kind of wanted. I was thinking about it earlier, and I'm a TH8 in my other account, and starting to figure out what do I do next. And I thought, well, a big thing that happens is kind of like what happened to you. And I thought, well, we could talk about like some of the. What do you level up now if you rush your base a little bit? And that kind of stuff. So we can get into that like down the road. But so how long have you been playing?
Okay, so I got talked into it on a road trip because I play baseball with a couple guys that are in the clan right now. They just moved to L Reloaded, and they were playing, and I'd see them in the locker room, and they kind of slowly talked me into it. I was like, what are you guys doing? It's like, I'm upgrading my dragons. I'm like, oh, sweet. Are you taking them to school? Make sure you drop them off with their lunchbox. Like, what the heck are you talking about? Yeah, exactly. Like nerds. And we're all like relief pitchers. So we sit in the bullpen, and we were kind of like nestled away as like, the redhead stepchildren of the team. Like, we'll call you if we need you. And I'm like, hey, like, leave us alone. We'll be fine. We're just down here hanging out, talking about nothing, right?
I'd really like to step in right now, but I'm in the middle of an attack.
Yeah. And that's what he would turn into. And so they talked me into it on this road trip. And so I started playing, I'm TH1, ground zero. Oh, my gosh. And so I'm working into it, and they're like TH7s or 8s or something like that. And, they're talking so much. Oh yeah, they know everything. Like, make sure you upgrade everything before you move up. You're gonna really be upset with yourself if you hop up here too quick. Make sure you get all your walls in. I'm just like, you guys suck. Like, this is the worst. Walls are the worst.
Yeah,
it was the worst with like, the pink gem, crystal ones, and then the purple ones. I thought I was never gonna get all the purple ones, and here come the damn skulls.
Yeah.
Oh, end of my life. Anyway, so we're playing along, and we're in the bullpen. We are down there, like, it is like near the end of the game, and I'm just sitting there just clashing along mid-raid, and our manager pops out, throws up, because I'm number 11, and he holds up ones. I'm just like, oh, God, this is such terrible timing. I hand it to my buddy. I'm like, you're going to have to handle this. Like, and so I'm like hopping over. I'm like, are you getting all the loot? Did you see the one that's inside the walls? And he's like, dude, would you warm up? We're going to lose. Get loose. Like, I'm like, oh gosh.
Was it a raid, like a regular raid, or was it like a war attack?
Well, it was a regular raid,
But still.
regular raid, yeah. But still, like it meant a lot to me. I'm like, oh man, we're running across some big money now. Like I need this, like to do my upgrades,
Yeah.
and catch up to these suckers looking down on me.
Can everybody just slow down and take a breath? I've got this this attack to do. 2.5 minutes. It's not going to kill anybody.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you got to get loose now. It's like, can I have a minute? I really only need 1 minute.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Believe me, this will help. If I'm stressed out about this out on that field, I'm going to be screwed.
Oh gosh! And so what actually made the whole connection with me even getting to House of L was that Dirty Pirate's brother. His name on there is Papa Peacock, and so he made a clan, and we all hopped into it. And so like there's only like 6 or 8 of us, and we had to pull a couple people in to like to have a war. And so
From
he
Global?
pulled his brother. Yeah, exactly. So we had well, no, it was just us, like just the pitchers that were on the team.
Okay.
So there's only like six or 8 of us. Not enough for a war. They're like, oh, don't worry,
Yeah.
I got my brother plays. Bring him in. Oh, sweet. And he's got like a blue number of like 120. So we're just getting ridiculous wars, just getting our ass kicked. Oh my god,
Man.
because like I'm not, yeah. But it turned out to be a lot of fun. I got hooked on it somewhere around right after the season was over. I got home and I was like, well, I work out, I run, and then I clash.
Yeah.
Like, what else am I going to do with my day? So I found myself in a pretty downhill spiral there for a little while. Just too many
Going to
raids
town.
in one day. Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's easy to do when you're farming and, or you're just kind of sitting around and, it's like I'll be watching a movie and just have it open and, flip back and forth. And pretty soon you're being booted. I got that one a couple times since the push. Because I'll just sit there and have it open while I'm doing stuff. And, well,
yeah,
you've been on too long.
Yeah, and you follow the chat. I like to follow the chat and not write anything and watch things develop. Because there's some, like, I wouldn't call them arguments, but people bickering back and forth about different attacks for this war. I love to watch it unfold. I don't know if it's just like me, just like, I wonder if he's going to get a little riled up. Because, like, our last clan had like a family issue, and then it just fell apart. It crashed and burned, and then we slowly moved to L.
Well,
so friends were lost. Like they posted that on the line. Like that's so real. Like I left one clan and like I haven't talked to the guy since. I'm like, oh man, he's upset.
And you guys are kind of like all looking at each other, standing there going, well, if I leave first, do I have to wait a little bit? Or, what I mean? It's kind of like the get out of the holiday party type thing.
Exactly. Oh gosh. And I suckered in 2 or 3 of the guys from the old clan to come to L. That I'm like, I'm looked down upon 2, 3 times as much now because I'm like the conspirator behind it all. Like, great.
What is that?
Do what?
A conspiracy?
Yeah, like I'm the one that's slowly picking like the guys away from the old clan. So like I'm the one.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Oh, dude, Benji's stabbing us in the back.
Clash drama.
Oh, it's brutal, man. It's brutal. Family against family.
So when you started to play a lot more, what did you like do different? Were you just like farming a ton more, or was it like upgrading? I mean, what were you like doing while you were playing?
Okay, let's see. When I was playing a whole lot, that's when they kicked on the. So I haven't been really playing that long, right? Or as long as some other people. So
you said July.
Yeah, so like June, July sometime. So I haven't really reached the full year yet. So the 1 gem boost was a huge deal to me. Holy crap!
Yeah, no kidding.
Like that. Oh, and you're like, this is how the game is meant to be played. Like you can pull in so much loot in one day because you're just barging up a storm, and you have all the collectors and the mine just going nonstop, and you're like, look at this! I've got 2 dark elixir pumps now. So I'm just going to boost those things, even though they're level 3. They're so bad, but I'm going to boost them anyway. It's only 1 gem.
So yeah, and like, were you? I can't remember how this worked the last time. Did they do it for a 1 gem for 7 days? Were you in when that one was on?
I don't think so. I don't think I was there for that one. I think it was just the 1 gem. Like it was just whatever it was. It was only 1 gem, and it was the normal time.
Okay, I think it was the one before that where And maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it was you hit it once and then it had 7-day boost.
Gosh.
So it was
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I
don't know why that made me think of that. I guess because the update is probably in the near future, and somebody had mentioned today online about a 1-gem boost. Like,
oh man,
looking
the
forward
Ghost
to it.
update.
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
Oh,
so
that's stress.
So you were hitting the boosts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then what were you going for? Like what?
Let's see. I was like, I was a new Town Hall. It was a fairly new Town Hall 8 when all that kind of hit. So what I was doing is my understanding of the game was that you need to build up your defenses so people can stop taking all your stuff.
Yeah.
So that's immediately what I started throwing it into. So, this was first for me, like, as my understanding of the game was like splash damage was like a big deal. So I went immediately for mortars and and pushed the wizard towers as fast as I could.
Right.
Yeah. And then kind of everything else kind of falls into place. Like, oh, sweet. Look, like, we have like gold. Oh my gosh. Like the archer towers went up like 2 or 3 different upgrades for Town Hall 8. And I'm like, this is such a pain. Like, oh my gosh. I thought it was only supposed to be 1.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it keeps going.
Yeah. And it keeps going. It drags out. But at least they gave us, with the update, they gave us a second dark elixir pump.
Yeah,
which was
that's
kind
huge.
of worthless at the time because it only goes to level 3. I mean, how much are you going to get done with level 3?
I don't know. And we talked about this a little bit. You're like, because you're farming now and you're not using dark troops, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it depends because I'll barge for a little bit, then I'll get annoyed with it because I find it kind of monotonous.
Yeah.
And then I'll just run a bunch of balloons and some minions out there and I'll rage them up to go get some dark elixir. So I kind of go back and forth so I don't get too aggravated with the game and start throwing out just crazy war raids all day because that's just going to deplete everything.
Well, and I guess we could back up just a little bit and say your Town Hall level 9.
Town Hall 9, yeah, fresh, like pretty much brand new.
Yeah, because you went to 9 after you got to L, I think.
Yeah, and I think I got booed when it happened too. Like Matt was like on edge. Like Warlord was like, you know what? Careful over there, Wade, because this might be your last day.
the tremble through the clan chat. Well, and I think it was, and this is kind of part of what we're talking about is your king was at, like, it was pretty low.
Bad. Yeah,
and your troops weren't. They weren't max for TH8? I don't...
So this was the problem that I had, is that, like, I maxed all of the normal elixir troops all the way out. Everything was done with that, but I was having such a struggle getting the dark elixir that I couldn't get them upgraded. Like, the idea of having 30,000 dark elixir was just beyond me. Okay. I'm like, how am I supposed to upgrade this stuff? 30,000? No, oh my God. Like, I barely got 20,000 for the BK. And then, like, it was like I was gasping for air for 2 weeks after that.
Just trying to grind it out.
Yeah. So I pushed it to 5, and then I got it to 7. I think it only sat at 5 until I moved up to 9. And then, like, that's when Matt was having, like, a serious talk with me about it.
But what about so all the elixir troops are done. Your dark troops aren't, because you're doing hogs still, right? Or were they maxed out too?
No, let's see. They just got to 4, so I've got 1 more to go. And so now, like, I had what's the most for me ever? I think I had like 65,000 dark elixir, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? And then you were the one that told me, it's like, yeah, this queen it's pretty shitty. You should probably work on it. Level 1 is like almost worthless. I'm like, oh, fine.
Yeah, it sucks too. It's like the worst upgrade.
Yeah, and so I went ahead, like, I had enough, and I just really pushed the dark elixir farming, and so I put the dark elixir in it, and I would gem the time. Now, I know that's frowned upon, but, like, I mean,
everybody plays it how they want to. I don't as much. I did this time, like, by a couple days because of our war, but it's just like I'm trying to play it
straight up.
That, or like, the first 3 or 4 days, 3 days, 2.5 days of the upgrade, I'm like, you know what? I think I can do this without my queen. And I start to figure out, okay, here's the strategy. I don't think I'm going to need this. And then I war. And then...
and then it all falls apart.
Yeah, it's like, I thought I had it. And it's like, well, yeah, maybe with the queen, but because you get so used to having that backup. But so yeah, it's painful.
That shoots from range. That shoots from way longer range than anything else. And it's sitting there just lapping, taking out all of this point defense, just one after another. I feel like it's just like, it's cold hearted, man. Any sort of golem up there is just wearing everything else out.
Well, no kidding. And then, and also the one thing that I've held on to is the fact that there was, rumors or people talking about, or I don't know how it came up, but letting your queen or your heroes war when they're upgrading. And part of me is like held back because I'm like, ooh, is this around the corner, to upgrade? Like they've got to fix this or something,
oh gosh.
So you had your queen. So you had your queen at 1.
Yeah, it was at 1 for a couple wars. Like I was on the struggle bus, honestly, because I wanted. Okay, so I look at the bases. This is how my mind works. I'm like, I want to be able to sit down and make one of these awesome Town Hall 9 bases, even though I know that my stuff's not upgraded all the way. I want to be able to put the pieces in so that I can kind of make the base and I can see the shape of it, and then I can build it up from there. And so I got the 2 X-bows, which I was heckled about, of course, from every single person that was above me. I don't think you said anything, but everybody else minus you. And then I got a queen, and then I kind of stopped because I was like, okay, I've got the pieces. Now I'm just going to build up, the new archer tower. They gave us a couple other things, and I built them all, and I'm building them all the way up to as high as they would go for level 8, Town Hall 8. But not going into the new levels for Town Hall 9. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's like everything's on the same level. And my idea is I'm going to stop, and I'm not going to push it in and really get all these points and these move myself up in the war defense. Yeah, because I can't attack those guys yet. I'm over here complaining about the Dark Elixir stuff, and those troops are the ones that make the biggest difference right now in war for Town Hall 9. Like it's what separates you.
Right.
And so I can't attack those guys yet. So I'm like, there's no reason for me to do that yet. And so that's kind of the grind that I'm in the middle of right now.
To be fair, we do get pretty crazy matchups.
Oh my God, they're terrible. Oh my God. I melt down in public when I see them. Like I'm like on my knees, like I just go, my body just falls down. It's like no bones, just immediately.
It's honestly like it was so nice to look last night and see that the top people don't have the max heroes. Like it's like my straight across has like almost even heroes as me. I'm like, okay, this makes
nice.
Yeah, this is so. I mean, we do have a lot of tough matchups, but I think in what you've been doing in war, which I think has been really good, is you've been hitting realistic to where you're at, and really punching it then, which really helps. Like the clan overall, because the top TH8s are going to be paired, against realistically like the top TH8s. But they're pretty strong, like the people that we go against. So when you drop down a little bit, or when, based on your troops, you're hitting exactly where you should be hitting.
Yeah, I think so. And you know what? It's a little bit of fear about like I don't want to look like one of the guys that's jumping up too high to get some loot, but you may not even get the loot if we don't win the war, and you didn't help clean up down there. So we've got high 9s having to drop down and kill 8s. I'm like, well, I'll let the 8s kind of duke it out. And if it doesn't work out, then, no Town Hall 8 is going to be, no matter how low, like the Lilunian or whatever it is that I can run out there now, no matter how low it is, I've got the maxed out balloons, and it's just not going to be able to defend itself. It's really not. Right. And so I let them duke it out, and there's always a couple that are kind of left un-3-starred, and so I go down there and clean those up. I don't have a problem about the loot. It's like what 150,000 of each on a difference. And, that's not enough for me to kind of roll the dice and me to go get 1 star that somebody else is going to have to go clean up. That doesn't make sense.
Especially with lately hitting against some of our matchups where it's like, well, it's probably going to come down to an XP war, in the end. So like it's like if chances are, I might not get this loot. Sometimes it gets close, at the tipping point. But I think when L went to the when we started doing the top 10, take the top 20, what I liked about it was that anybody that was like 21 and or 11, and sometimes it got a little bit more, but everybody felt more comfortable to go lower. Right. And I think our cleanups have been way better because of that.
Yeah, and more efficient too. Because, sometimes you have a cleanup and you're like, oh my gosh, 98%. Like, okay, that's as good as 70% with 2 stars. Like, it really does. We've made no progress.
Yeah, exactly. And so now where is your king now?
That's the kind of spot that we were talking about hogs earlier. They're at 4. Now I could go to 5 here, like, in the next 2 or 3 days with a little push on Dark Elixir, but my king's only at a 7. And I know, like, I don't even think I've heard anybody say 14, like, on the podcast, let alone like single digits. So it's kind of embarrassing. But
Boneyard's only at 15. Like, and my king,
which one? With both. Which one? Player 1 or with the big account?
With the big account. Yeah, and my king is only at 15, and my queen just went to 20. So you're not that far behind. Like,
yeah, I guess it's just like it's one of those soft points for me.
Yeah, but those hogs. Have you? See, and I see all these attacks, and it happens like several times a week. So I don't like. Are you using hogs to attack?
What I like to use them for is the original lure, so I can take out a point defense or 2.
Oh.
So that I can get in the balloons with less of a fight to get to the AD. So that's how I use probably maybe 6 or 8 of them, and that's how I'd use them in war. So like to help clean up, and I feel more comfortable with them. When I was doing before, I was doing a Halloween, and then oh my gosh, I was doing with level 2 hogs. I have no idea how I pulled it off a couple times. Just pure luck. This is like it could run by those small bombs and knock half the health off, let alone one giant bomb was just knocking them all out. But
isn't it crazy? Anyway, you hit the new level and you're just like, how did I even, I don't know what's, yeah. So
they're not full hog attacks, but they are, I'm using them for something because I get excited about it. Because I'm like, oh man, I'm just going to hop over these walls real quick and do some damage.
Hogs.
Watch out.
Would you? So wait a second. Okay, you are doing the go. You're using the lavas and the balloons now, right?
Yeah. So I'm flip flopping back and forth to that because my golems are seriously, they're level 1. Like they're the worst that you could possibly ask.
And I'm trying to like ask, I guess, because I'm going, all right, well, how would I suggest to go forward? Or, if people are having similar troop levels, as you, what would you upgrade? Cause I'm facing this with my TH8 too, what should be my priority? So where are your pig dogs?
They're level 1 as well. Like I just got them when I started using them, like 2 weeks ago. So like 3 wars ago. And so I just got them that way. I feel like I looked like I didn't know because I didn't ask anybody about it, but I hear you guys, you and Boneyard talk about your second accounts. And I feel like that's like kind of like talking about where I'm at. And you have to decide which way you're going to go. Are you going to be a hogger? Or are you going to be somebody that throws in a lot of golems and letting those do the meat shields for you? And I never really got to that point because I was always so busy fighting like, oh my gosh, like I just need to up these giants and throw some healers on them. And maybe I just need to learn how to go wipe. And then I hear, Jay from One Hive go, go wipe is don't get caught up in it. You need to try these things. I'm like, oh my gosh, my dark troops are the worst.
Yeah.
All of them, because I got so overwhelmed looking like 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. I'm like, I will never upgrade a ginger because I will never have 50,000 ever.
Dark elixir. Yeah. It's daunting to even think about, like, looking forward. So, okay. Cause I think that you're right. Like, and this is happening with my second account too, cause I'm like, all right, what am I going to be? I did this time. I just put in my my drags to level 3.
Right.
Because I didn't even have the hog barracks completed and a very new TH8. Mm-hmm. And I think you're right. Cause what I've started to think about is, all right, am I going to be a hogger? The drags, I'm doing the drags because until the hogs get leveled up, I can work on
that's what you got.
Yeah, that's what I can focus on, and do it that way. And Illness was talking about, and I guess I brought this up a little bit earlier about not ever using dark troops. Like how much money how much dark elixir we threw at using dark troops. And so with my TH8, I'm not using any dark troops.
Right.
Not like out of principle, but I have minions, which I didn't even level up. I started leveling up the king. And this was different too, because like you said, the update, I went up to 8 for the 1 drill. And then all of a sudden there was 2, so like I would have maybe stayed at TH7 longer, but I'm like, I need that drill. I love to bathe in dark elixir. There's no way I can work with this,
Right.
So how much is the next pig dog for you? Are you close to that?
Yeah. Okay. So I was pretty dang close. Like I had more than enough for it originally, before you lovingly told me that I should upgrade my queen and stop being a child. And so, I went from level 1 to level 5 from one war to the next war. Like I hopped it up because I had a whole bunch of dark elixir.
That surprised me because I looked at your base the other day because I was diagnosing it for you didn't have anything on your CC troops, so I was trying to brainstorm what would work.
Yeah, because I've just been getting hogged lately. Yeah. They've been getting 2 stars, but not 3. And then I got hit with something else last war, and that wiped me out. But it was like the last second, so it was working good. But it's 60,000 for the next level. But I only have one more level for pig dogs until I think you can only get the 3rd levels in Town Hall 10, right?
I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that.
But okay. I do think that because this is where we're at then, right? Is like, do you have to farm for the stuff? So do you go with farming troops? And you've got your stuff pretty much maxed out that way.
Yeah.
You look at like, all right, well, where am I in terms of clan and what I should be doing? I kind of think you should go with, if you want to, do you want a hog? It's like, do I know if I want a hog at this point? Yeah. Or do I want to go air?
I gotta be honest with you. I'm way more comfortable in the air because I feel like there's less stuff shooting at me and blowing up around me. But I don't know if that's even true. I just feel like floating around in the air, I'm just tend to be more safe. Because spring traps aren't down there. They have small and big bombs down there, but you have the dark and the red balloons. But there's no spring traps. Tell me what kills a hog raid faster than a whole bunch of spring traps that you run across? A double big bomb. Okay, so those are 2 things that can kill. But in an air raid, like bad planing kills an air raid more than anything.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like it's more in your hands when you're in the air, but that's just what I think.
Well, there is nothing sadder than seeing a whole pound of bacon up in smoke.
Thrown off the screen or just exploded.
Yeah,
just sitting in hands in face. Like, oh no.
And it's usually the hogs spinning in the air, and then you've got then the smoke. And it's
so sad.
It is. There's nothing like it. It's like, oh, it's like a deep, heavy inward sigh. And I just feel bad for whoever it is. I mean, it could have been like a good attack or even a horrible attack. I feel like, oh, no way,
Just,
no way to make that feel better. I mean, that just sucks.
Oh gosh, when stuff like that happens, whether it's in the air or not, I honestly turn my phone off and put it in my pocket. I will not go back to the chat until I've had a second to kind of gather myself, because I don't want to read what people are writing. Like, oh my god, like really? Wait, was your plan? Like, because sometimes I try to sneak an attack. I'm like, okay, it's just a cleanup. I don't have to talk this out. Oh my god, that went terribly. And then RM is normally the person sitting there waiting for me, just gonna just give me my British like beating verbally, and I'm like, oh god.
Well, yeah, and I said I can't remember what part of it got edited out, because there was just a little bit of talk in this last episode about and you haven't heard it yet, with illness, where I said when I come out of that attack, I have a good sense of how bad it went by the number of notifications that are on the sidebar. Because if it's a lot, it's like, oh, he's not going to. Yep, he's around. And then if I come out and there's like 5, and like a second later it's up to 8, I'm like, okay, that's usually after a good attack, or like something just went off a little bit. But it's a horrible feeling.
Oh gosh, this is when everything's starting to pour out. It's like, oh, this is a spam attack. This goes one of 2 ways. Good luck.
Well, and it sucks because it's like you can plan on it and you look at it and then you drop something just a little bit wrong, and then you have to wait 2 more days.
It's true. It's true. Though. It's true because if you have a good attack and you have a bad attack, you only remember the bad attack. That's a feeling that sets on you. It's so much like baseball. It makes me laugh because this is what I have to like compare it to. It's like if you go out there and I have a bad outing. Let's say I had 5 good ones in front of it. It doesn't matter because whatever you did for me lately is what sits on you.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm so worthless as this clan. I'm going to get kicked. I'm going to kick 3 times. They're going to let me back in so they can kick me and tell me how bad I suck again.
I just can't kick myself. Well, I guess I can.
I'm just going to go on a walkabout. I may never return. I don't know yet.
Well, and it's really tough. And then that's when it comes down to these decisions, when you start to talk about like the pig dogs or the hogs, if it was me, I guess I would say, if you're using air, try to go air.
Right.
If that's what you want to do you're closer to that, right? Wait, are your hogs level 4?
Hogs are level 4. I've got 40,000 elixir now, so I'm 10 away from maxing those out. So
see,
so
that might mean switching tactics then too, and
it's true. And that's just a little bit more practice because I feel like I've watching a couple attacks, and as you try it out, everybody's got their own style. You try to mimic somebody's air attack. It doesn't always work. Like what their army composition doesn't always make sense to you. And I think that like an attack should be kind of rhythmic, like
you were saying this the other day in the chat.
Yeah. And so if I think that the attack is not so much a math problem as it is you have all the pieces that you need and you're staring at the base. Okay. And then you have an idea of where you want to drop the balloons and what time you want to let the pig dogs rush in. Okay. And what corner that you want to like slowly walk in and take care of like their queen and stuff. But the thing is that for it all to mesh together, you kind of have to just go with what the attack does. So like I'll attack one side. Okay. And then how that goes depends on if I'm going to just rush the other stuff in on the other side to try to catch it back up and rage it in, or if I'm going to let that settle and slowly go counterclockwise with it. So you kind of have to like, if you have a plan and it works out, it's beautiful. But most of the time, 80% of the time, something goes awry, does it not? So you kind of have to just be ready for
99% of the time.
Yeah. So like it's going to hit the fan, and it's like, okay, don't panic. There was more in the clan castle that decided to show their face. Like, everything is gonna be fine. Like,
okay,
it's like,
here's the people coming late to the party.
Yeah. Like,
they're all drunk.
Sweet. Yeah, sweet, and they're holding fireballs. That's great. That's great news. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh my God, what have you guys been doing in there all day?
Well, yeah, so I think it should work itself out, and as like you learn the timing of it, so you're just like slowly kind of it's like a piece of art instead of a math problem is the way I would say it. And we're talking about Clash here, but at the same time, that's how it makes sense in my head.
Yeah,
just the way
Well,
Like pitching is more rhythmic for me than it is. Some other people are just rip and roar. Like that's not how it is for me.
I think that it kind of brings up a good point, because this is I think what people I've been talking about, Mailman's been talking about, and as we talk about overthinking it, and and looking at a base, and it's like I'll sit on a war attack and I'll look, and we're doing Clash Caller, so I know what my base is. I've been thinking about it for a while.
Too long.
Yeah, too long. I think honestly, like, I would do better on these attacks, I think, half the time, if somebody made an army for me and just pointed me at a base. And I had 30 seconds to decide how I'm going to go in, because at that point, I would say, okay, initial impressions, I'm going to go at this. And I think what you really get at with that is that I know in that attack there's uncertainty. It's not like, okay, here's my plan. It's going to count on this to get to this. And in those attacks, I've got the strategy, and then I adapt the strategy based on whatever it is I have. Oh, shit, I'm not going to drop my king and queen now. I'm going to wait because this all just went to shit. I can still get the 50%, and the town hall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and it's kind of accepting the chaos and being willing to work in it. So you're still functioning inside of everything else going crazy. And, as soon as somebody drops a rage, the war screen just loses it. It goes berserk, right? All types of stuff. So you can't even watch that anymore because you'll get stressed out. So it's kind of like just keeping your eyes. I feel like when we stare at a base for too long, you try to stretch troops, and they're magically getting better than what they are. It's like, well, maybe if I distract this one, I can get 3 balloons to take out half this side. Like, what? No.
Yeah. And then you
3 balloons there, 3 balloons there. Stop. This is how it works.
And you drop the one, and you're like, oh shit. The lure didn't work. There goes my entire plan. I don't. You start sweating, and then you got to go change your pants after the battle. It's like, exactly. What the hell is going on?
Oh, Springtrap, I only brought 6 bacons. Oh, no. There goes the lure. Like, I've got 1 archer out. Sweet. Screw me.
Yeah. And in normal raid attacks, like, I don't care what the hell comes out of that CC. I'm like, oh, minions. Oh, whatever. Throw that at me. I'll just deploy these a little bit earlier. And I might not even be thinking of that, but I'm just like, they'll die somehow. They'll take care of themselves if I just, get this in there. So it's a whole different realm for sure.
In the wild is almost safer.
It is. And maybe it's because you don't have an audience, or maybe it's because I do think there's a lot to be said about that, adapting, and you hear people talk about, planning their war attacks, think this should just be super easy. But a lot of people don't talk about like failing, on an attack, and that it hinges on everything going right. And that can be a little misleading, I think,
Yeah. Most of the time the attack's not dead. You just kind of have to just like, well, you're just going to have to throw out the original plan and hope that this new one works that you have to kind of devise in the next 4 to 6 seconds. It's like, well, plan B. Let's roll this up. Let's just attack the other side. Screw it. I'm flipping it.
Do you ever get to a point in an attack where you the attacks failed, you might have a couple archers left, and then you just think to yourself, I hope these archers last for a really long time so I don't have to go back.
I need these archers to last the last like minute and a half so I don't go back early.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I've got 1 minute and 15 seconds left. How can I get these archers to do some work? Let this wear off before I return.
Oh, man, I need 20%. Come on, archers.
Yeah, it's just like, well, if nothing, maybe I'll get lucky on something. What did I miss?
Oh, God.
What could have I done right here?
Yeah, exactly. And you drop them, and of course they go running straight for like the CC. Yeah. And you're like, could you find something with more hit points? Oh, my God. What are you doing?
No kidding.
Also, what I've learned, just got my face beat in by the queen the last couple of days, like in an aggressive way. I'm like, I now understand. Like, there's nothing on this half of the base but yet we're going to shoot at Legos.
Yep.
We just got the Town Hall 9, and I just got skulls, and I think I'm just badass. And all of a sudden now this guy's got Legos, and we want to shoot at them. There's one line of them. Shoot at the skulls.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
You're like, yes, there's the T8 wall. It's like this squirrel problem. Like, squirrel? I mean, and it always just seems to be like at that one moment, you're like, I have this nailed. Okay.
Yeah.
If my queen can just do, that's the moment she hits wall.
Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh, take out that Tesla and they're just going to blow these right in. Oh, no, never mind. Just kidding. Can't get to it in time.
I'll hit my invisibility right now. Oh, she turns, you know. I don't know. It's,
oh my gosh, let's see what happens now. I'm just going to turn it off and walk away. Screw. Oh my God, no way.
Yeah. It's killer. I do like mine at 20. I did wake her up early. I did get a new ability. And she beat teenage pregnancy.
Whoop.
She's 20.
Big deal.
Yep.
Big deal.
Yep. She went out for a night on the town.
Here. Yeah. Well, maybe up there, but down here, you got to go one more year. So we're still, hiding
20.
Yeah. 20.
Is yours at 5 yet?
Yeah, she's at 5.
Okay. Yeah. You said 1 through 5.
Yeah. I'm down here hanging out at 5.
And what happened when you got that ability?
My life changed because now all of a sudden I'm dropping some extra archers. And that, honestly, the biggest change is that I can kill a town hall that's sitting out by itself faster. And I can't tell you how happy that makes me because now I can kill it in 4 seconds, 6 seconds instead of what feels like an eternity. I'm just dropping 30 barbs on it. I'm like, I don't want to wait any longer. Kill this thing. Let's go.
Yeah, and then you can hit if you throw her in, wait for her health to get down just a little bit, to where you can measure it, smash her ability, she heals up a little bit, and hopefully hit it at the right time. Then that cuts off minutes of her sleeping. Yeah,
which is crazy because this is when you're trying to run a bunch of attacks back together, I didn't have a.
And you're talking about sniping here, right? I mean,
yeah. I was talking about sniping, but when you're running a whole bunch of barching attacks back to back, sometimes you gotta drop the key in there to hammer a couple more of those collectors so that you can finish a raid that you're pretty proud of, on the loot. And now all of a sudden you got to wait 18 minutes. Dirty Pirate was talking to me earlier tonight. He was like, "Yeah, this is an hour and a half." Regenerating time. And I'm like, an hour and a half? What do you do? Oh my God, that sounds terrible.
Well, now that's part of why my queen is at 20 and my king is at 15 still, is because without the war necessity there, it was like, all right, do I want to wait between these farming, attacks or, even after the war, it was like, well, does it make sense to have her down for a while when she is usually the one that can pull off the dark elixir at the end of the thing. So my dark troops can be upgraded, so you start to balance all that. I think the better idea would have been to say, all right, you get a king level 1. Well, this probably could never happen. But if they went the other way, you know what I'm saying? Every time you upgraded, that means they rest faster. That would have been
level 1 would have been an hour, and then it would slowly work its way down and get stronger.
Yeah, and I suppose most people would have it all. They'd all have max now because you'd go, oh, it's really big incentive to level up. My first, my king, when I first start using him, I only get to use him once every 4 hours, and then it went down. I mean, that would be a really cool benefit where
True.
And honestly, I thought that it stopped at 1 hour regeneration time. And so
honestly,
I went queen up to 16 and 17 and I realized that that's not true. And
I found out the hard way.
Yeah. And I thought they changed it for some reason in an update. I know they shortened the sleep time already, but I was just like, oh, if it's only an hour max, then that's fine. I can handle that.
Yeah, well, that would make sense because they baseline it out at 7 days upgrade time, right?
Yeah.
So it's a max week. So what, I don't know what number it is, but after that number, the rest of the way through is a week.
You're like, Supercell, can't you just let us play? Yeah.
Yeah, well, God, you're robbing me of fun. I'm here to have fun. God.
Oh,
It's
man.
like steal me from my normal life. What are we doing here? I'm still watching him just Z's popping up from his head. Let's rage.
And I think now we're going to see an update tomorrow, I think. Or not an update tomorrow, but a preview. That's my prediction.
Okay, well, I hope you're right.
And this is Thursday.
More of this talking that goes around. Yeah, go ahead. Drop the date for us.
April 24th. Well, it is Thursday. They did have a maintenance break yesterday. They had one a week ago after the XP. I think something's coming. I think it's next week.
What did you just upgrade that you said was for sure going to be part of the update now? Was it like
air defense?
Okay, it was air defense.
Yeah.
It's like, well, boys, it's going to be air defense. I just finished them off.
Yep. So I have been waiting. Let's dial back, because you said something, and this will speak to my point. But you said something about point defense, and we had talked earlier about listening to the SAS interview. This was when me and Benji talked earlier today,
right?
About listening to that and about rethinking the way that we attack. And the point defense, what he was saying is basically anything that, shoots an arrow or a cannon, like that type of thing, not the splash damage troops. And you kind of mentioned it earlier when you said, well, I upgraded the mortars and stuff first. And what I was going to ask at that point was, and this goes to like the upgrade with that, the air defense in the pig dog attacks, is that the point defense with the archer towers seems like, since I've listened to that, or since I did the interview with SAS, since I listened to that, I've been really looking at those archer towers a whole lot different, and the cannons, but namely like the very, very pointed defenses and what they'll guard against. So like in my TH8, I was thinking, should I be doing my air defense, or should I be doing my archers? Because a pig dog will target the air defense. That's what people are afraid of, but they don't realize that those archer towers are the ones that are really the biggest killer.
Yeah, they just pound away, especially after the update when they sped up the time and they were releasing arrows. It changed everything.
And maybe people move things out a little bit, or adjusted because of that. But don't you think that point defense, would it change your upgrade order?
I think it has to. I think that for me, like when I realized that you move up a town hall doesn't mean you immediately rush defenses. I think you really push hard on your offensive troops so that you can attack as the new town hall that you just arrived at. But I think that when you start working on the defenses now, I mean, goodness, like you have to pay more attention to the archer towers and when you start leveling up these Teslas, like they take out a chunk of what you bring to the table to attack a base with now, just because of like the rate that they're throwing it out there, and the way that people are placing like storages in front of these archer towers sometimes for these war bases, and it's like, well, you were worried, like you said, you were worried about the air defense, and the air defense is, it's doing its thing unless you run a pig dog over it. But goodness, these balloons are just getting worn out by these archer towers and Teslas. Holy crap! And
you're like, well, I got that air defense, but
worthless. Yeah. It cost me 12 balloons. I brought 16. Like, well, not going to happen, boys.
Yeah, and it totally changed the way that I look at those attacks. I can totally see it in House of L, and and I think the best way that I've thought about it since is to say, make the archers and the wizards turn. So if I want to send it's like a tap on the shoulder, if I want to send my balloons at something, I'm going to send that pig dog right past them. Even if I buy the time where the pig dog goes past it, then the loons can hit it. It can turn by the time that it starts hitting the loons and stuff, because then it'll be on top of the stuff. And like you said earlier, like 3 balloons, like you're pacing out a little bit more about what should be thrown at this to take out this, instead of just, I'm going to go through it this way. You're kind of working around the base.
Yeah. But true. And when you're staring at these bases now, it's important that we've got an initial plan of what's going to break the outside defense so that you can get in, because you're trying to get in the base, right?
Yeah.
And you're only attacking one side or one particular point to break through and get inside the base to where you can do damage on the inside. Then we spread back out and go and kill the other things on the outside again. So it's
like throwing a rock over a fence in those bases. Yeah. It's like throwing a pig.
Yeah, throw the pig in there, and we try to just crush those things and get that first AD. Yeah, right. Yeah. But as soon as you get that one, then we're just dropping the rest of them in there. But it's so confusing to me, though. At the same time, is it sometimes stuff will pop up where I'm not expecting it, and then balloons will just take a walkabout.
Yeah, they have been doing some weird things.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun. Where are you going over there? Well, I guess I'm just watching.
And the closest defense is like right next to it, and it's been going within the wall compartments. That's what I've been noticing. I saw Nat do that in one of our wars, where it was clear that the closest air defense was over the wall in one space, and it went down like a whole row. And I saw in with a couple attacks within like a war or two. Like there's that weird AI. So something's
gone awry.
Yeah, and so I'm predicting that update.
I mean, I have a question about this because I'm not a full conspiracy guy, but you have to wonder. Like, obviously, balloons are OP, so they have to do something to it to throw it off. Kind of like the Queen. Like, if you just let the Queen do what it's supposed to do, kind of like the King does, that would change the game. You have to throw in there the fact that it just loves an occasional wall just to keep the player honest.
Well, imagine if she targeted just a specific thing.
That would it be fair? No, unless it's like targets specifically walls. Then now we're talking. Like, wall there junctions. We go.
I think that would be awesome. Like that Chief Pat video. I'm like, hell yeah! At least I know what she's going to be doing this time.
Yeah, then at least you can plan it. It's like, oh, this is a really specific wall breaker right here. I spent a lot of Dark Elixir to break these wall junctions down.
Wall and TH. I mean, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, goodness. We're talking about those more new. Okay, so the first couple big, like the time I was really getting into the podcast, it was when you guys were talking about like the new possible troops and stuff. And you guys are ranting and raving and laughing about all these different things, and then Boneyard just loses. Like, nope. You know what? If we're gonna do that, I want one that just jumps over everything and blows up the town hall. How about that, Scotty? And I mean, like I told y'all, like sitting on here riding this really quiet train in Switzerland, and I hear that, and I'm just laughing.
You told me this earlier. You haven't told everybody on the podcast.
Yeah. So like I'm just sitting on this train. It's so quiet, and Swiss people are so proper, and they don't want to interrupt anybody's everything. And I'm over here. I'm from Alabama. I'm no matter how much I try to put it away, I'm redneck. So that's where we're at. And so I'm sitting there, and I just bust out laughing. I can't hold it together. I'm like, Boneyard has lost his mind. Oh my God! It's like, nope, I'm done. I'm done with this competition. I have decided that this will be the best troop, and obviously Supercell is listening to me. So I'm expecting my check in the mail, and I'm just sitting there just cracking up. I open my eyes and just scowls from like 30 different old Swiss people. And I'm just like, well, time to move seats. So I just got up and walked off. I was like, well, that's not
Boneyard
going to work out for me.
Invaded Switzerland.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Zod has taken over Switzerland.
Oh, man. So I had that stuff kind of going on over there. It was a bit of a struggle, kind of mixing in the podcast and trying to blend it in Europe, which is already a struggle.
When you say that, like, sometimes during your workout, you're listening and people
for sure. We're usually doing cardio. What are you going to do for 30, 40 minutes? I'm sitting there like, if I listen to a song, the song goes from 3 minutes to like it feels like 10 minutes. I'm like, if I just sit here,
reminds you how long you have been working out. That's 15. 15 songs or 20 songs.
Yeah, this is terrible. I'd much rather listen to you tell Boneyard how he's nuts for thinking that bringing one person to the push was totally okay. Not a problem at all. We'll let you win. Just bring on Eggleg. That's fine. What is he in Masters already? Oh, great. Yeah, that'll be fine.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to turn an eyebrow. That'd be okay.
Johnny Big Leg. I just
Oh God!
and those are the
"He's lost."
times for the people have asked for like a video podcast of us recording, and those are the times where you would just see the blank look on my face, like, oh,
You can't be serious.
Yeah.
You like you're saying this, but I know you don't mean it. You don't believe what you're saying.
Right.
Tell me that.
I was glad that I wasn't alone, because I'm like, you know what? I might be alone right here, right now, but there are going to be a lot of people listening to this. And then they can either tell me I'm crazy or I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
And having that like voice of reason or, a perspective, that's awesome. Then I'm like, okay, I'm not completely crazy.
Yeah, it's like, no, then you decided to, just throw a big shit about it. And it's like, no, not me, Boneyard. The whole Kryptonian family was up. Like, I listened to that 3 or 4 times and it never got old. I was like, well, this is beautiful. I can't wait to see what happens next.
Oh yeah. That was one to remember for sure, because it was, what an experience. It really taught you a lot about contests. And,
and how serious it is to some people, to where it's like, hey, we're gonna find a way to make this work for good old Zod. I'm like, hey, more power to you.
I know why people have fine print now on their contests. Rules, apply. I totally get that. Proof. Yeah, Boneyard proof it.
Yep, there it is. Oh gosh, but when they had, oh my gosh, break away for half a second when the Zod and Soaz war happened. I called the Dirty Pirate and I was like, okay, if Zod wins this, we are going to have just classic Boneyard for an hour and a half, just letting us know how the world is against them, and yet they stood up and crushed everybody in their way. And I'm just like, oh my God, it happened. Oh, I can't watch a two-part podcast. Oh my God, I was wrong, Dirty. I was wrong. It's 3 hours. It's 3 hours.
Well, and that was a fun war. I got to Twitch it, which was a really cool thing. Like that was a lot of fun. And so we're doing some more stuff with the Twitch. I was going to Twitch tonight, go over to Cadmus and Twitch that, but I want to do some more L stuff. But we're running at a 20 this war, so I thought it might be a little slow at the beginning with just that many. But it was really cool to go in and just see an entire different. I don't know. I want to say strategy, but you've got all these different attackers. Everybody's paying attention to their bases, in Zod, and everybody's paying attention to their bases, and Soaz, in the defense stuff, really hardcore, because you're about to have this matchup, and then they have like the planning of where people are going to hit, and everything becomes much more magnified. Because I remember that with the L War, and I think that's why you may have heard a little bit about the K-Fam War. The podcast wars. And we're working really hard to kind of set it up so that way it matches really well. Like our most realistic one probably right away is Kent Farmhouse. And we'll go and do me and Nat are working together to try to get the war set up. But so we don't disrupt the clan. I mean, I don't want to do like a 15 war and then it just doesn't work out. Because
that's a kind of a waste.
Yeah. And with the XP, and keeping that stuff going. So I think Kent Farmhouse is going to be our closest matchup. And so me and Nat are working on that. I think Project Cadmus and Phantom Zone and Zod are trying to match. LexCorp's trying to match with somebody. And so we're figuring all that stuff out as we go. And it'll be interesting to see, because what happens in those type of wars is that everybody is in our clan and in the enemy clan will be really paying attention. And so that'll be when we're really running at like 100%, okay, you have to get your attack in. This is definitely where you need to go. People will go with what they know, and for the most part, like it'll be like, hey, you really need to prove it. And what we do a lot of times is try some new attacks. So of course they fail, if you're practicing with something, you're practicing. If you get it right the first time, that's awesome. But figure
But
out
you
what you
probably
did
won't.
right. Yeah, figure out
Yeah.
what you did right on that one.
Yeah.
And so that'll change the focus, and that's what was really cool about the Zod SOAS, was that you kind of got to see everybody shine, but you can't keep up that focus all the time, you know. And I think in like a clan like ours, where people are in out all the time, you know, we got people in England, you know, in different parts of the U.S. So it would be a whole different experience, and I think it would be a good matchup when we meet Kent. And the True Sons, we're working on that one too.
Yeah, I think it's always cool. Like, I mean, I haven't been a part of the family for very long, and I think it's so awesome how there's so many. I mean, there's a bunch of clans that all kind of like look at each other and it's like, hey, like we're all kind of in this together. We enjoy playing the game, and we want to be a part of the family, and we listen to the podcast, and we've kind of got a unique strand that links us all together. And that's so cool, because normally you're kind of crammed in or put into a corner of, you know, 50 people, and maybe, you know, 6 or 7 of them, you kind of know some other ones, but, you know, they get on the podcast and they talk, and you kind of match the voice with the people, and then you kind of get the vibe for that particular clan. And that's just the coolest thing to me. Like, that's so unique. Like, I really think that's special about this. And when you get to actually go to war against them, like that builds the bond up even more. Yeah, absolutely. And then, you know, one day when Zod and El show up again, like I don't even know, like I got goosebumps. Like I'm already kind of getting sick feeling in my stomach already. I'm like, oh God, 4 hours on a podcast. It's like,
this is what's at stake here.
Yeah, you guys, we need all in.
Well, and you know, and I think like it would be a really interesting matchup with Zod again, and I think it would be. Well, and with them, I think they would have to maybe add some 10s, but we've thinned down on the 10s a little bit. Mm-hmm. People have opted out. Some people are going to be sitting. So, you know, kind of building that list. And there's some really good podcasts coming out about how to figure out how you match up. And the thing that's good about figuring out how you match up is it kind of goes back to like where you were at. You know, of course, your queen doesn't matter, you know, but in terms of defenses, like you were saying, and not being able to hit right across, if you can figure out your number and how fast you're progressing,
you can slow the number down if you need to.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, on my 8, I hate walls. And as a 10, you know, we went up against this last war. I didn't have a queen on one of them. But there were the purple walls.
Mm-hmm.
That really didn't matter much.
Right.
I mean, it really didn't matter that much. It was the way, and you said this about like building that really cool base. Some of the time you can do that cool base, but the walls work really well to prevent certain attacks, I think, or to prevent. Or to, in some ways, like misdirection. So I look at your base in the last, you know, however long since we talked about it, where you were at. I think I said something like, you said I'm gonna just work on walls for right now and make it. I can't remember what you said about your base exactly, but I was like, well, that makes sense, because if you stop all these other kinds of attacks, you force people into certain kind of attacks. Then you can plan on how to deal with those certain type of attacks. Force you into, we saw a lot of hog attacks on you then. After you level up your walls, right? I'm not making this up, right?
I saw a bunch of hogs, and then I haven't seen that much air, which is strange. I mean, I have
the last war you did, but that was a kind of
that
a fluke.
that was the one that kind of wiped me out. Like I was like, well, didn't see that coming.
Yeah, and I totally didn't see that coming either. I thought it would be what was it? Was it pig dogs and loons?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is. They had some other stuff kind of straggling though. Like it wasn't the usual kind of loon where you just kind of rush it. Like, you know, it's not a spam attack, but you'll see a lot of spam type drops of how they would use that. It wasn't like that at all. Like they had I think it was like maybe 3 pig dogs and then some loons, and then they kind of put in some wizards on the back end of it. I had not seen that before.
I think we should put a pig dog in your CC.
I mean, that would make me laugh. I think the whole thing is hilarious. The thing is so dumb and slow. I'm just like, oh my gosh, here we go. Let's do it.
I'll tell you what, it slowed down the level 40 heroes on the people that were attacking me.
It gives the point defense time.
Yep, it gives a point defense time. And going back to that, like all of a sudden seeing it that way, I started looking at will the point defense hit it? We might be normally aiming for like letting the infernos, but I'm like, if you can just let those things hang back just like 2 or 3 seconds, that's a couple hundred hit point, the HP that got whittled down. I wondered if on your base, so you're a new TH9, you've got you get hogged, the balloons and the pig dogs. I'm not sure if how that would work, but as soon as they drop the queen,
it would deter the kind of back end stuff that you need to help clean up, because you lose a lot of hogs. The way people are kind of just one finger dropping them, so that it's just like a huge herd of them running around, hopping around, which is fun to watch. But you hit enough of those spring traps, there's not you can't fix that with a heal. Like you can't fix the spring trap with a heal. So
I just call them hope losses.
Yeah. It's
there's the 6th hope loss. I'm really going to be crushed on this one.
Well, yeah, and it's strange because you can run out of time if you lose enough, because then there's a bunch of stuff that you have to clean up at high hit points, like the storages and the CC castle, the CC, and then
you sound like me now. 8 HP points.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that brings it back to like a good point about like a good attack is it's going to usually be a 1-star high percentage,
right?
Or a 3-star.
3. Yeah, or it's a 3. Yeah, and so I mean
that was another thing about the SAS interview that I was like, okay, that makes complete sense. Because if the TH is standing at if the TH, and we've seen this a couple times in the clan where that's the last thing, or we've seen it on the defense on the other side where that is the last thing standing, and it's like,
which blows my mind. Like I can't believe that's not in the AI at all. Like, wouldn't you just want to hop right over like real life stuff? Like if you've got people fighting for something, we'll just go around the mountain, make sure we got all the defenses before we go for the awesome thing that gives us a spare star.
Hey, look at that. It's a TH.
We'll see you later.
But at least at like a 98 or a 99% with the TH standing there, you knew you almost had it.
Yeah.
Like you had a good strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's you can feel pretty good about it, but at the same time, it's like we said before, it's a 70% 2-star, or not even a 2-star, it's a 1-star. So I mean, it hurts.
Yeah.
Like in war, it hurts. It's like, man, I really have I'm getting this attack worked out, but that's a punch to the groin right there. That hurts.
Yeah, that's how most of how I feel like walking around war. which will be good about the clash caller, trying to just try some new things, kind of get a rhythm like down a little bit where I liked everybody, where we focus down, but it would be good for the higher THs to be able to do attacks earlier and not switch up. So we'll see what happens. I'm optimistic. I think like the back end of it, with the L line chat, that everybody's checked in enough, on stuff that it'll work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's, oh my gosh. So, okay. So you and I talked about, my buddy that we brought into the clan, FOMO. And so we were trying to, he's left-handed. He's a left-handed pitcher. And so, he's on his own track. He's, we can't actually get on the same brain wavelength. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Well,
putting it together over here.
Boneyard and Lady Boneyard are both left-handed too.
Oh gosh. That makes so much sense now. I can't believe I'm taking this long to put it together.
Yeah.
But he was like, Clash caller. What? How am I supposed to do that? I don't even. One more thing. Like, how am I supposed to do this? God, we listen to the podcast. I show up. I talk about my attacks. I suck, and they want to throw me out. Now I got a Clash caller. I'm like, dude, just go clashcaller.com. It's really not that difficult. He's like, oh God, what did you do? Just pick a number? I'm like, did you look at the basis? He goes, not yet. I'm like, God, why is it so complicated? Yeah. Holy crap. I was like, oh, this is getting, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming me right now. So we're getting that worked out. But,
did you guys, talking about, did they do it in L Reloaded?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but I do know they got a really nice war set up. The clan they got is, I mean, we got a good clan that when we're warring right now, I looked at it, like we started 2 hours ago on that. Yeah. And that's the best matchup we've had since I've been here.
I don't remember something so pleasant looking.
Right? It's
like I feel like I'm about to step into a trap.
It's just like something has gone right.
And it's not like the bases are easy. I mean, by any stretch. I'm looking at number 2 and I'm going, okay, this could be tough. I'm pretty sure I can get the TH. Here's where I'm going to try to get the 50. But what's the catch?
Right.
What's the catch? I'm looking at the point defense and it's spread out on the outsides. And I'm like, this this seems just too good to be true. And it really does made me look at those. I used to think of Archer Towers as insignificant, although they hit ground and air, but it's the sheer number of them in the range. So even against things like golems, and if people aren't used to at different TH levels, if we talk about golems, think of golems as 6 giants, except for they get hit by spring traps. The giants do. The golems, but the point of the hit points versus damage per second, in range, that's really the key aspects, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's the ongoing conversation is do you roll out a golem out there or do you throw in some of these awesome new giants we got? Well, I don't know the answer to that. And I do not like spring traps and what they do.
I know. And I love the level 7 giants. And I hadn't used giants for a long time. I watched DP, Dirty Pirate.
Get aggressive with them.
Get aggressive with them. He was running those with healers. And then he was doing a 5? Mighty
6
golem.
6 golem attack.
I saw Mighty Buzzard today do a 6 golem attack with just wizards behind it.
What do you do? How the amount of hit points that are floating around on the screen is just, what are you going to do? If you spread them out good enough, they'll never actually get to the wizards.
Exactly. I think that's the point. But the one thing that they do really well, I don't know if they were using much rage on those attacks. Because what they were doing, and I always think this is the problem with the golem wizard combo, is that the wizards went under rage near the golem, shoot past the golem.
Yeah, that's bad news. That's bad news right there. Because then you're just waiting for the golems to die because everything that you have to kill things are already dead.
Yeah, and so maybe it's waiting more. Taking your time a little bit more and just letting the golems, maybe you send in a few wizards right away and then send some behind it. But it can really, that rage spell, almost to me, it just seems like it might not be the best with the golem. Anything back in it. I don't know.
You're just fighting that 3 minutes though, because those golems, they're not in a hurry.
Yeah, so it's okay, what can I get it into range of enough stuff to take out the defenses? Everything else around it. And I think that's kind of starting to get into the 3-star strategies. All right, I can send a golem in here to distract.
But I need to bring the pain later to catch up for the lost time.
Yeah, or throw that in on the the golems, you're seeing a little bit on 9s, go in and take out an air defense, instead of a pig dog.
Yeah.
And so your golems are low though.
My golems suck. They do. They're the worst.
But I think that's completely fine, because then if you keep on it, like you get the hogs, then you get your pig, your pig dogs, whatever you want to do first, and keep on your queen. Then you can focus on, all right, I'm going to transition into golems, down the road, because then that would depend on. I wouldn't do it if you didn't have max P.E.K.K.A.s.
Yeah.
Or max wizards, max spells. So you could really, beef up your elixir upgrades that way first. Then, because you're going to need the jump. You're going to need. And you can get jump.
Yeah, I've got jump. Yeah, I've got the jump.
What level? Level 1?
Oh, jump. Yeah. I feel like you're just rolling me out in front of all the people listening to this podcast. Like, God, this guy's got level 1 everything. What is he doing on there?
No, and I'm just trying to
easy there.
I'm just trying to think about what I would do then. Like if you had
a blank canvas.
Yeah, if you had if you're sitting at the hog place, you're sitting at the pig dog max place, I would definitely do those two first, because when those troops are maxed, you will get more loot.
Yeah.
Then switch it to like elixir upgrade. So then it's like the jump to level 2. You don't need level 3. I don't last 60 seconds on these bases. Like for that jump, you're going to really come back to this in 40 seconds. It's like you've been through it. So, like I would do that. I would think about, I wish I would have done my lightning earlier. Make sure your heal is maxed. Because the heal is always great in farming.
Yeah, because you can save and get that last little bit that you wanted to get. Like you can save it at the last second.
Yeah. Yep. And you can throw a heal down on a queen when she hits invisible. She'll recharge while she's invisible from the heal.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
So if you're under an inferno and you hit invisible and then you have a heal, throw the heal down, and so of course the longer the queen's invisible, the higher the level, the more she's going to recharge. But sometimes it's just a few seconds is all you need.
Yeah, just to get those last couple shots in. God, it's so powerful. Changed the game for me.
Yeah.
When I got that queen with an ability. Oh, gosh.
Well, I just got the level 5 king this week with my second account. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even.
It's, yes.
That's
I've got
right. There's a rage here. And that makes a
spare barb. Nice.
No kidding. And that makes a good point for keeping your barbs and archers maxed, because whatever your barbs and archers are at is what's going to come out of the queen.
Always helpful. Always helpful. I gotta tell you, as the game is slow, like the game has only changed probably twice since I've been playing it, and when I got on, we really, like my buddies, we were in the bullpen, we're busy dropping giants and healing spells and running out some healers and doing all that. It's crazy how the game has come full circle, and now I'm getting hit with that, and I can't defend it. These people are running. Yeah, the heals and giants, like these guys are running out like 18, level 7 giants at, and it's just like, well, it's only a matter of time till that thing just smashes through everything that I love.
It's like, oh, you wrecked it, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's like, why does this guy get all these flaming troops right here? Like, I'm just down here hanging out, and you got to do me like that.
And it does come full circle, because like I didn't even touch the healers at first on my second account, because I'm like, I've never used them. The only reason I upgraded them to level 2 in the first place was I didn't have anything to spend elixir on when I was upgrading.
Just get rid of it.
And I'm like, okay, I'll put in my healers. I'm glad I did, because like a troop you discounted all of a sudden comes back, throughout this entire game. So if you always think about like, okay, well, here's the troops on the board, what's not being utilized very well or much, and then kind of plan for that in some ways, because you've only been playing for close to a year, and you're still not that far off from most people, like because then the upgrades get way longer, and the troops come out and stuff like that. So
true. It's always... I loathe the day that we get another dark barrack upgrade because it's like 14 days now to get pig dogs. It's just, oh my God, screw me.
Oh my God, I did that right when it came out, and I started my second Dark Elixir barrack upgrading to pig dog this week.
So you've had one making pig dogs this whole time that you've been on this love fest. You've only had one of them pumping them out.
Yeah, I only have to boost one.
Oh God!
So I put
that's really wrong.
I put 10 cents into that one, so I can war, and I pump out 4 pig dogs while I'm boosting my spell factory. I'm like, if I boosted 2 of those to get them out in a timely manner, that would cost me twice as much money. I'm like, I can do it just out of one, just fine.
Yeah, I had a question about this. Is it? I think it. All right, might just reveal myself here. Is it cheaper to just load them all into one and then boost like if in the world of
you can
just
only
gymming
put 3
something?
in one.
Yeah, okay, but like in the world of just gymming something, like if you have like 2, like because when I was in Town Hall 8 and I was just pumping out dragons and I had like 4 barracks of 2. I think it was more expensive to gym each one of them than just load them up with one and gym it. Like, okay.
I don't know I don't even know how you'd compute that cost. 4 barracks of dragons at the same time. Were you farming with that?
No, it was like, you better get this attack in or Dirty Pirate's going to have your soul. Okay.
I would probably just put
in one.
I would go like this. I'd say, well, my spell factory holds this much. It's going to take me an hour and a half on my spell factory to get things done. So I'd only boost 2 barracks, or I only have, like on my TH1, I only have 1 dragon barrack. So I've been hurting really bad in these new wars that we're having. Not so much in L, but in the new clan.
Right.
Because I'm like, well, shit, everybody's going within the first couple hours. And so I need to get my stuff in. If I only have 1 barrack full of that can produce dragons.
Oh, it's such a pain.
And I have to do 10 dragons. It's going to cost me 5 hours to make a full dragon army.
Oh God.
So
hold on. Just like imagine if you're Boneyard trying to pump out all those dragons for his Town Hall 9 with his 1 pig dog, because I think that's his standard attack now.
Yeah. And I saw him 3-star somebody.
What?
TH10.
What? Oh my gosh! I got to start over. I got to start over. I don't know how this game works.
I don't either. He 3-starred that base. He sends the loons in at a really good time. He has good timing on it. So he's kind of rating at a lower level TH. I know he talks a lot of shit about, but I was really impressed with his attacks when I've seen him. He had me come over there last Friday, I think it was, and record his 3-star dragon attack. And it was a lower TH, but I couldn't believe not a lower TH, but lower lower defensive TH10. But still, at TH10, I haven't been. It made me rethink dragons on TH10, and I've been running with 1 or 2 all week, trying to figure out. Yeah, because I was like, that dragon did not get hurt very bad at all underneath that Inferno Tower, a multi. So if you could engineer it right, but that's a level 4,
Yeah, the fiery eyes.
So, but it was, the big dog dragon attack. I was not expecting to do very well at all. But holy shit.
I heard him say that, and I was just like, is this real? Is he playing mind games for me to try this so he can laugh about it later? You tried that shit? What an idiot. No, that's really what I do. Balloon. Yeah, exactly. I thought it was oh, here we go.
No, I said to him, I would not have believed it if I wouldn't have seen it.
You got to find a way just to go ahead and drop that somehow on the website for the whole world to see.
Oh, the attack?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I will definitely put that up. Because
you have to, because it goes against everything that I thought I had learned. I was dragons are gone. Town Hall 9. Here we go. Let's do some real attacks.
And
here comes Boneyard.
Here comes Boneyard to to do some work with his dragons. I do have to say, it was a lower base, but I think the principle was pretty sound. In how he hit it. And so I've been sending one drag in at the end with my lava loon and taking a few less archers. It definitely holds on to the 50% if he held on to the dragon, or maybe put a dragon in the CC. And this is like a TH10. But now imagine if you took in, like, you do the quad dog, right? So it's at your level, it's 4 dogs.
Yeah, 4 dogs and that's like 26 balloons, maybe.
Okay. Seeing what I would do is, if I were you, is
that's if I don't put any minions, but I normally put minions with it though. That's what I tried at the end, just to kind of like sprinkle them just in case something goes awry.
I haven't been doing that in my air attacks, and I should be doing that. Because like everybody says, you shouldn't take any minions with a lava loon. I don't think that's true anymore.
I just disagree, because like, I mean, with specifically with me, because I think I get 8 pups per exploding big dog, which means like if I plan it incorrectly, do you know how fast a level 1 explodes and then all the pups get shot down with point defense? Pretty damn quick.
Yeah.
Well, oh God, what's happening? Make it stop.
And that's a fantastic point, because like, if you think about like the level 1 pig dogs, they're not going to explode as far. And I think people are assuming that you were rocking when people are giving you advice on what you're attacking.
Yeah.
They're giving you advice from the last level they attacked at. You know, so if I've got level 3 pig dogs, I'd go, okay, yeah, go in here. This is how it's going to do it. And so that's why I like it a lot when, in the clan, when the TH9s are giving the TH8s advice, or, you know, somebody's talking about a hog attack. Cause I could go in and go, I love hogging. It's been now a while since I've been doing some hogging. I haven't done hogging in war for a long time. And so like, it's really good for people to you know, speak from what they know, and like how they would send it in on a regular basis, which I think is really cool. And it can hurt you too, like on the like a pig dog thing. If I say like, yeah, go in for this, but I would take in on your CC. Can you hold a pig dog yet?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. On your defensive CC you can. So I would only do 3 on yours.
Yeah, I do 3 and then a real one. That's the way I would. That's the way I
real
call it.
One.
Yeah, I get like a real one and like 3 pups.
That's
like
awesome.
Then I run in mine.
And then 16 or 18 loons.
Ah, gosh, I could have sworn that I have more than that. Could have sworn it.
Well, no, because T-Skits always ran with what I do in like the wild is I do 4 pig dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I do 14 balloons and 25 minions.
Okay, so that's 50 spots with the minions. So I mean, that's 10 more balloons. So you use 20 possible 24, and you have 240. So I really only have spots for 22 more balloons, or 22 balloons, 20. Yeah.
So if you like sent them in, how many are you taking? How many minions? Like 10, 20?
Yeah. If I'm going to clean up a Town Hall 8, I don't do a quad. I just bring 2.
Okay.
And that way I Lalunian off of that with just 2, because then I can rage up and it can run to the 3rd one and have like 2 half dead pig dogs. So they kind of explode at the end.
Well, yeah, an unexploded pig dog's not good.
The worst also.
But I almost wonder sometimes if like there's a tipping point in the minions. Like if I bring in 10 or 15, it almost seems like you need like 20. And T-Skits always ran
20 with that way.
Yeah, T-Skits always ran with when he was doing his air attacks all the time. He was doing 4 pig dogs, 16 balloons, and 20 minions for a TH10.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't enough for me, like the minions. Because the minions could like usually take out the end stuff after the balloons went down.
Yeah, and you need them. You need them to be quick with the cleanup, because sometimes I would imagine, this is me imagining in Town Hall 10. There's so many defenses, like there's so many buildings left behind when the balloons are pushing forward through the base. There's so much stuff left behind. Like you could get less. You could get everything, blow up a whole bunch of stuff and not get the 50% and have a whole bunch of unguarded buildings behind because you didn't have enough minions to clean it up.
Yeah.
Like
just ran out of steam.
That's a legitimate problem. Yeah. So it's kind of got to be considered as well. I'm sitting here looking.
You haven't looked at it war since we started. I probably need to. That's the one thing about changing things around a little bit, is that there's not as many people in to fill war CCs.
Yeah, that's got to be a pain too. I got to tell you, when
fill CCs, I should say.
There we go. More clan CCs. So when I moved up to Town Hall 9, I finally got black balloons, which meant to me that, hey, I get to donate stuff to people, because I used to just sit down here and not donate anything. And not ask for anything during all these raids I was doing for loot, because nobody wants level 5 archers. No, nobody wants that. Like, I don't even want that, and I have them. Like, somebody give me something for real to use over here. So I was like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. Oh, it's like finally something to donate to people. I have max something.
That's an 8-minute donation.
Yeah,
true. that's the thing. But I think we'll take whatever if anybody says anything. No, air. It's usually air ground,
right?
And whatever we take. There are people that like to take more than others.
Yeah,
but
I'm doing better. I'm doing better about keeping my mouth shut now. Doing better about that.
And but yeah, we don't really worry about that in terms of donations, because I think you have to respect the lower TH levels and go, hey, you guys need to be able to donate if you want to level up, if you want to get your friend in need.
It also moves you up in the clan, because people are used to seeing your name pop up when you give things. So when you ask for something, I'm much more apt to give something if I've received from you before. It's also that weird kind of oh, okay, they're active, kind of just blink that goes off in your head. You're like, oh, of course, you can have whatever I got here. No big deal.
I'll wait anyway for a little bit. You just filled me up.
That
makes complete sense. That's activity. And if you look at it, sometimes I don't see people in chat a lot, but I'll go, oh, look at, they donated 1,800. So I know they're around,
Right. Mm-hmm. And something to be said for somebody that's not afraid to give up troops they've waited around to attack, and oh gosh, well, I could give up these troops, or I could get my one attack in. Okay. I'm just going to wait a little bit longer. It's going to be okay. Yeah, exactly.
and it's and worse. It's worse. Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. It's worse for us now because you're I'm around donate. Oh, that's 6.
Oh,
but God. We only have
that 8 goes to 16 in a hurry. What am I going to do for 16 minutes?
I know.
Oh my God.
You sit around and you go, what?
Yeah, I'm going to jog on this stupid treadmill nope, I'm not doing it. I'm getting off. Screw it.
And you've been hitting that button so many times, on those barracks for however long, that 9 months, you can only have 5. And then for you and for me, it's 2.5 years. And I'm going, oh shit, I used to know how to reload my troops whenever I donated. And now I have to go back and recount. And I'm like, did I just do this?
Muscle memory.
Yeah. And then the troops are filling up more, because people could donate 6. Maybe they didn't realize it. And so I go, did I just donate 2 loons, or did I donate 4? And will they be done with the same time my pig dogs are done? And so I'm looking back and forth going, okay, wait, my troop count's at 240. Okay, I'm good.
Can we talk about this for a quick second? How if somebody's giving minions now, it used to only give 5. So it's 10. That's a nice round number. So you can give a whole bunch of other stuff. Oh, the 6th one really will screw up the count and the CC. Holy crap. Now you're just sitting around going, well, I have 4. I really want another balloon, but that's not going to happen.
Yep. You go, or like you look at your army camp, because you might be checking out, like you might have, put in some wizards to brew, or something from somebody. And then you look at your army camp and you're like, 39. I'm like, how do I get an odd number when I'm running this and that? And I'm like, do I subtract a loon? Do I add a couple minions? I mean, like, what do I need to do here?
It's become a serious math problem.
I know, and I've ended up with some weird compositions with more loons, less like minions. So we'll see, but
oh man, okay. So I got to drop this one thing on you because I told Hellbringer.
Yeah,
they just went over to L Reloaded. Okay, so. He is the master of a thing that we like to call Johnny Rage Cage, where he's got his troops together that are aggressive, and he runs those suckers in there in war to not the base that he can handle the best, but to the base that has the town hall closest to a wall that he can run into. So that's how he gets his 2 stars in.
Nice.
But so this tends to upset Matt just a little bit, as you can imagine. And so Matt moved over to L Reloaded. What he didn't know is that Hellbringer might have had a mini in there that kicked him and returned the favor for all the times that Matt had kicked him out of L and then re-invited him back. This went over very smoothly.
Whoa, so Hellbringer kicked Matt.
Yeah, from L Reloaded.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, and then Matt got on his mini and was just kind of, just pretty fired up about what the hell just happened and why did I get kicked out of this clan and who is this guy that kicked me?
Oh, Hellbringer. Because he's been quiet in the chat. I mean, I think since...
Yeah, he's quiet, but you know
what I would say? Yeah. What I'd say to Hellbringer is, if that's the way you want to attack, go from the opposite side that you think you should go at. Mm-hmm. Because that's what those anti-3-star bases are. It's like you go at the TH and then you can't get past it. But the good attackers, like in that SOAS war, came from the backside and just took out all the defenses first and then hit the TH. So he would probably run out of steam on the other side.
Yeah, but he was also caught because he's super talking about rush bases. He was a Town Hall 7 when I started, and then he got to 8 and quick jumped to 9, and then we were all kind of we were all slowly kind of catching up to him. So he just went ahead and pushed it to 10. So he's got Town Hall 8 troops, right? Yeah. Attacking with a TH10. So he was really high up on the L list, which was, probably another reason why we were just pulling just ridiculous matches. Because, he can only attack so much. But, I mean, he would go in there and attack just about any 9 and get 2-star just because he was okay with it. Because it's like, what else do you want me to do? This is kind of where I'm stuck.
I'm going to punch this base in the face.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Johnny Rage Cage, this thing, get 2 stars and get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, oh, God. When people watch
Hold my beer.
Yeah.
Watch this. Hold my beer.
Yeah, he's over there at his watering hole in California, and he's going, hold on one second, I'm going to get this war attack in. And literally, it lasts 45 seconds.
Yeah.
So he's working on his new attacks over there in L Reloaded, doing his thing.
And they've got a good match. JD's he just moved over there. I just saw in the chat. I'm handing out some troops now, but why don't we wrap up? It's been an hour and 40 minutes.
No way!
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's so easy to talk when you're talking nerd stuff.
Oh,
so Benji, the wait is over. It's all one word. You'll find him in House of L. The wait, sure. WAITE is over. You want to give shout outs before we end it?
Yeah, just a quick one. Let's see.
Dirty Pirate.
I got to give some love to Dirty Pirate for showing me the path to get to the podcast, and for FOMO and Hellbringer and Papa Peacock for getting me onto the game. And I got to tell you, it's done nothing but soak up my life ever since I got on it. So
Tell me about
it's changed. It's changed everything.
Well, and good luck with your baseball stuff.
Yeah. I'm heading up to Winnipeg. I'm playing in the American Association, and Hellbringer is also going to be in the same league, and so is FOMO. He'll be on the East Coast, and Peacock will be over there next to you guys at St. Paul. So we're going to come down and play St. Paul. So try to pull some guys together from L and maybe the Kryptonian family and try to get together and have a beer after a game.
Oh,
maybe.
Yeah, hell yeah. This summer. Yeah, we were talking about that already. Any other shout-outs?
No, that's it.
Well, it was awesome having you here. I think it's really cool to like talk to somebody that is in the trenches in terms of, early in the game, 9 months. What you could think of like Clash Clans as early in the game. We have Arthur in the clan now. I was talking to him tonight. He's only like 4 months along. All right. Get a hold of us at WBSMT Radio on Twitter, ClashClansPodcast.com, and also ClashClansPodcast@gmail.com. You can get a hold of us anytime. Keep clashy, everybody. Thanks for being here, Benji.
No, thanks for having me. It's kind of my claim to fame now. Keep it clashy.
Keep it clashy.
Skilly beep 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 skilly beep.